Greetings, respected viewers. I am George from Ireland. I have a bit of a sore throat, which is why my voice is off. Qatar. Anyway, this video is about Her Royal Highness Princess Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and her war against sections of the British media. Her husband, obviously Prince Harry, is involved in this. Perhaps he's the one who's leading the charge. But only yesterday, they released a statement to the British press on the 1st of October, and it does say as a couple, so both of them involved in it. Anyway, they feel that they've got a very unfair press, particularly Princess Meghan. They complain about this relentless propaganda campaign which has been launched against them, and so on. And they say that they cherish the free media, but they've been very ill-used. And I somewhat concur. To some extent, they have been mistreated, but a lot of it is fair treatment, is reasonable criticism. As viewers of my channel will know, I'm fairly critical of her. Anyway, the media statement is really in Harry's voice, referring to her and she. He is talking about his wife. Anyway, their particular complaint is against the Daily Mail newspaper, if I've got that right, and the Associated Newspapers, that's the company. They're taking legal action against them, saying that the company has breached the Data Protection Act 2018. There was a letter from Her Royal Highness to her father, and somehow a newspaper got a hold of this and published the content of that private correspondence. So it's quite a lengthy statement, and as the statement says itself, this may not be a safe thing to do, but it's the right one. So presumably some of his courtiers have counselled him against doing that, but he's so irate, he's gone ahead heedless of their sage advice, claiming that they're knowingly false and malicious statements made against them. Now, they're not suing for libel. If they did, they would have to be put in the witness box, and the House of Windsor never ever sue for libel. So that's why there's no law against them doing so, but they just have never done so, which is why the media can freely report anything. I mean, they without fear that they're going to sue. Now, they could suddenly change their mind and start suing, but I don't think so. Just in case you don't know, what is libel? If somebody says something which wrecks your reputation, and that statement is false, then that person can be sued for libel, and they would have to publish some sort of apology and pay you damages. How much did it besmirch your good name? You know, accusing you of an imprisonable offence, saying you have a contagious disease, saying you're incompetent in your job or something like that. That would be it. But anyway, now, are they legally right about this breach of the Data Protection Act? I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they are. It was a private correspondence, fell into the hands of a newspaper who published it. Is that on? Well, newspapers have done so previously, and not been subject to legal action. Incidentally, it's a civil action, not a criminal one. But the law changed in 2018, so they may well be right on this one. Now, I know the newspaper may plead public interest, as in it's to the advantage of the public, for the public to know about what public figures say in private, but that might not work, because you might say, well, public interest is often misused. It's meant to be public benefit or something. It's not meant to be public curiosity and public nosiness. That isn't a sufficient reason. It has to be of benefit to the public. Anyway, so His Royal Highness Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, saying that his good wife is a victim. Well, horrid things have been said about her, but I don't think by any media outlet. I know they're Looney Tunes on the internet who say that that baby is not real, she was wearing a prosthesis and stuff like that. What else do people say? That, oh, she's been divorced twice, not just once, and without citing any corroborating detail. Who married to whom? When? When did they divorce? How do you know? Or that she's had several abortions, and now I've no idea if that's true or not. But again, there's no corroborative information provided. When did she do this? How do you know? I suspect it's all just made up. And given her views and the circle she moved in, if she had a termination, it might actually advantage her to have announced it, and some women have. Anyway, so I suspect that rumour is bogus. But anyway, I don't know of any newspaper or television channel which has reported these claims. But is that libelous? Is it likely to lower in the esteem of thinking members of society? I would say probably in the United Kingdom that wouldn't count as that, because it's widely accepted as something permissible to do, as ethically okay. But anyway, I don't think they should be moaning about the media so much. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. They could disclaim their titles and therefore their privy purses, not be on the civil list, not getting taxpayers' money. But no, they want that. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You get all this adulation, you get all this money, you get red carpet treatment, you get access to all these celebrities. But the price you pay for that is you don't have much of a private life. And you are going to get a caning from the media from time to time. And I can't believe it was that much worse when she was in the United States, because, Hollywood is a bitchy place. A lot of people are envious of success and so on. And I know she wasn't an A-list actress, but still. But so she married Prince Harry. She never has to worry about money again in her life. And she has more media attention than she could ever have garnered as an actress. Okay, there are a lot of famous Hollywood actresses, but how many princesses are there in the United Kingdom at any one time? They're like 5. And she was always going to be a very unusual one, and therefore a more famous one, being American, being partly black, and so on, having been an actress, having been previously divorced. So they went on this trip to South Africa, and by all accounts, it was a rip-roaring success. And she was able to advocate for causes that she believes in so passionately. But I think her conduct is so often unseemly, straying into the political sphere. Now, if she wishes to speak up for political policies, then she could enter the forum of public life, but she has chosen not to do so. The monarchy is supposed to be above politics, and I know she's not the only one who's gone wrong like this. So she said she wants to fight against greed. Really? Would that be like having the taxpayer spend £2.4 million renovating your house? 2.4 million, more money than most people will see in a lifetime, and that's on your house, and not just the only one you get to stay in for free. So if you really cared about the needy, you could have given away some of that money to those who actually need it, who are suffering, whom you just use as props for your photo opportunities. And I know all the other princes and princesses do likewise, but they're not going against, we must oppose greed. Well, why don't you give away your money? Why are you wearing new outfits every time you appear in public? Most of them haute couture. All right, some of them from high street brands. She could shop exclusively from ordinary shops that an ordinary woman could afford and still be very well dressed. I know if her appearance wasn't good, she'd get a stick in the media for that as well. But, to be fair to her, I think she'd never dressed badly at all in public. Anyway, so you've got to take the rough with the smooth if you choose to join the royal family. Prince Harry didn't have that choice. She did. He could leave it. Other people have abdicated. Not that he's a monarch, but he could renounce his titles and just live as a private citizen. The media would pretty soon leave him alone. So you need to grow a thick skin. He who lives by the media shall die by the media. I don't mean literally, but if you make your life, as it were, through public appearances, through public statements, through editing, guest editing a magazine, then sometimes the media coverage won't be entirely positive. You'll get some flack. So, grow up, grow a pair, man up. So she wants to save the planet. I mean, some of these are laudable causes that I agree with. Talking about accessible education, but these are political policies. We should spend more money on this. Should there be more taxation or what? We should reduce carbon emissions. Not everyone agrees with this. You've always got to ask yourself, how would you feel if it was the other way around? What if someone was saying, no, and climate change is a hoax, stop socialism, stop taxation and regulation that will go with addressing climate change, just burn hydrocarbons with gay abandon, then some people would be irate about that. Or saying no government funding for third level education, just make the fees as high as you want, libertarian government stay out of it. Right, that would also be a tendentious policy. So she shouldn't say that either. Now, Prince William, he talks about endangered species, and that's fairly uncontroversial. I have not heard of a single person who says, no, let's allow rhinoceroses to go extinct, or let's wipe out elephants or something. So that's not political, I don't think. Now, other members of the royal family have done wrong. The Prince of Wales, he's transgressed as well. For years, he was sending his infamous Black Spider letters to various politicians, demanding this and that, meddling about the primary school curriculum, saying that political correctness has gone too far, moaning about the Human Rights Act, trying to persuade the government to bring back grammar schools, saying not enough was done for people in the countryside, trying to argue about prison conditions, and he shouldn't have done that, and making some highly disobliging remarks about the democratic leaders of other countries. But he should keep his views to himself, and these were taken seriously, rather than just any other layman. His opinion was accorded a respect it didn't deserve. He's not an expert in these fields. They're really listening to him because he's got HRH in front of his name. So he was rightly excoriated for this very unbecoming behaviour on behalf of an heir to the throne. So you get all this kudos, you get your groupies, you get people cheering you, and so, okay, you're going to get some people who don't like you, particularly if you speak up for tendentious opinions. And there's Harry exploiting his mother's memory, saying that, well, because of her, I want to protect Meghan, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it was terrible. Princess Diana being killed in a car crash. I don't want him to get killed in a car crash, particularly if you're 36 and the mother of 2 little children. But that's no reason why the press should go easy on Princess Meghan. I know, strictly speaking, I should call her Princess Harry. Even then, it's actually Henry. Prince Harry's name is Henry, not Harry. But there we are. So Diana, Princess of Wales, was not killed by the media. All right, she was killed by a drunk driver crashing into a pillar when he was speeding. It's about 4 times over the alcohol limit in France, and they were none of them were wearing seatbelts, and that's what killed her. The actual press pack were not that close behind. So even if they had been, they didn't force the driver to drink, they didn't force him to speed, and they didn't force her not to wear a seatbelt. 2% of all deaths in the world are from road traffic accidents. So it happens to a lot of people, unfortunately. So what will be the upshot of all this? Perhaps more hostility from certain sections of the media. I think, and obviously it's not the press as a whole are saying things they don't like. Other people just have to rise above it. The Queen, Prince Philip, they've come in for a lot of stick. And Prince Edward, we drop out of the Royal Marines, Wimper the Windsors, they called him, because he couldn't hack it. I couldn't hack it either, not for one day. But perhaps shouldn't have joined. It wasn't suitable for him, the artistic one of the family, and his mother ordered him, you've got to do this to have some credibility. Because there you are, going around in the military uniform as a colonel-in-chief of regiments, and it seems ridiculous if you've never served a day yourself. And Prince Andrew, from his very ill-judged friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, after Mr. Epstein was convicted of sexual contact with a minor, and so on. So there we are. So I think Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been unwise in seeking to shape the media too much. And they talk about objective reporting. Well, we could have some objective reporting. We're also allowed subjective reporting. And although the Broadcasting Act requires television channels and radio stations to be fair and balanced, they don't require that of newspapers, including the online version. They're allowed to be highly partisan. And then we have a more vigorous press, a press which is sometimes rude, sometimes unfair, but that's what a free country is. The media can be like that, cannot be rambunctious, discourteous, and skewer, arrogance and so on, challenging centres of power, punching up. So I know there's some racists who are bigoted against Her Royal Highness because she's partly of African stock or other things like that. But there are some reasoned criticisms of her, and she sometimes lays herself open. So I think they ought to watch their step. They're saying to be on our guard against avarice. So saying, do as I say, not as I do. Lead by example. Give away your wealth. Live on minimum wage then. Live in an ordinary little flat. If you're really against people being selfish and taking too much, you could do that, but you don't. So making a sacrifice is for other people, not for them. This really is nauseating. It is the height of hypocrisy. So get over yourself and stop being such a lovey and so self-regarding. So anyway, I'm still a royalist. If I met her, I would call her Your Royal Highness, I would still bow to her and so on. But I respect the title, not the individual.